Welcome to the Irish Bandit channel and welcome to part 1 of Cabin Fever. So we are done Hush Hush. It was such a great game, but we're continuing on with another great Sad Panda. Well, I don't know if it's great yet. I haven't played it. This is my first time playing Cabin Fever, so you're going to experience with me, unlike playing Hush Hush the last few weeks, which I already played it before, streaming it on my channel. So we're going into this blind. I already can tell the artwork is great, but, you know, from Sad Panda, of course. So let's just get right down into it. I was poking around with it a little bit earlier, so we've already got a few things set up, so let's just get right into it. We're going to go new game, type name here, and we'll just go with my name. And let's go. This game says the content is intended for mature audiences. Well, I have the uncensored turned off, so I'll be playing that in my own time, so we can stream this on YouTube. Let's go. Chapter 1, Prologue.
I don't remember much about the world before the sickness.
Uh-oh. And if my channel were monetized, demonetized.
I was just a kid when it started, too young to fully grasp all the changes happening across the globe.
This is hitting a little close to home.
Looking back, it was as though some cosmic clearance bin of trashy dystopian paperbacks was spilling plot points out onto reality. You had your unknown virus, your slow-to-act world leaders, your extremists, deniers on one end, doomsday preppers on the other, and overall just a heck of a lot of scandal and angst. What it boiled down to was this: stay away from each other.
I mean, that's just a philosophy I have in life, so...
Yep, that simple. Stay away. Because the sickness mutated so rapidly, spread so easily, and killed so many, that preventing transmission was the only way to stop it from wiping out the human race. A cure could be developed, they told us. Would be developed, they promised. Somehow. Someday. Life changed. Everything from school and work to medical appointments and family dinners became virtual. And as it turns out, hosting an online society requires a lot of computer programming. Like, a lot. Lucky for me, I'd always had a knack for stuff like that. It was easy to get trained and even easier to find work. When's the last time you heard a young person say that, huh? I did programming for medical services, government websites, automated manufacturing. There was no shortage of freelance contracts. Of course, places like movie theaters, shopping malls, and restaurants died out. Even farms and factories became rare. So much of the workforce lost. But to be honest, I personally thought all of it was a net gain for the planet. Fewer people meant less pollution. War and terrorism dropped to an all-time low. Most people learned to be at least somewhat self-sufficient.
Sad Panda Park, nice.
Well, since my parents both died not long after my high school graduation, I was probably more self-sufficient than most. I was alone for a long time. Long enough to be used to it.
Closed due to Vivid 22?
At least I was healthy. I had my routine, with lots of work to keep me busy and the internet at my fingertips to keep me from getting bored. What more could I have wanted?
Chapter 2, Seed. Wait, wouldn't this be Chapter 1 if that was the prologue? Oh, whatever. Oh, here we go. I lived in an off-grid cabin that had been in my family for years. When I was young, we used to visit every summer, just to get away from it all. I probably call that ironic, but every time I say that word, someone tells me I'm using it wrong. I mean, as long as you're not using it like Alanis Morissette used it. Anyway, when the sickness started spreading, that cabin became a place to survive. It had everything a small family could need. Though, like I said, by this time, I was still a member of my bubble. I was used to taking care of myself. On a good day, with the sun shining onto the solar panels, I could get 30 kilowatts, more than enough to power the appliances in the house and keep the battery bank full. And since the cabin's set near the mountains, I'd often get a decent power level at night with the wind turbine catching the air coming off the ridge. But that night it was raining. Hard. Like most evenings, I spent this one on my computer playing my favorite idle clicker game and browsing the web for news. The news was mostly doom and gloom, of course, and, well, I mean, look at 2020. But I liked finding out the odd tech or space-related article sprinkled in. Whoa, what was that? I was thinking about how badly I wanted aliens to be real when an email alert danced the corner of my screen. It danced in the corner of my screen. I opened it. Ah, yet another forward from one of my more gullible work colleagues about a possible cure for the death-dealing virus. This particular claim apparently stemmed from a breakthrough in study of bovine bodily function.
What a load of bullshit.
Yeah.
Literally. Good one.
Dude, you need to clean your hut, or cabin, or whatever. I was pretty much the only company I had anymore. So yeah, I talked to myself. I mean, sometimes you need an expert's opinion, so... I deleted the email, letting out a heavy sigh. There was a point in time when I found that sort of thing amusing. The ridiculous conspiracy theories and clickbait titles. But now I just found them sad. I glanced at the clock. Time for tea. I put the computer into sleep mode and headed into the kitchen. On my way there, I had accidentally kicked a broomstick laying across the floor. Dude, that's why you need to clean your clean your cabin. Why do I keep calling it a hut?
Ow.
Yeah, it sounds like me.
Why is that even there? I never sweep.
I mean, dude. In that moment, I judged myself. Hard. I do that too. Oh well. The world had basically ended, so what's the point in cleaning up? I mean, it wasn't like I was expecting company. I kicked the broom aside and carried on. Oh, so you did more damage to your toe. In the kitchen, I steeped a nice big cup of herbal tea. I tossed my used tea bag into the compost bin, noting as I did that the bin was very full. Noting as I did that the bin was nearly full. I had to take it out soon, empty it into the tumbler with the rest of my food scraps and plant waste. Then, probably in the spring, I'd add fresh compost to the garden, give my plants a healthy nutrient boost. I loved my plants. I wanted them to be strong in case they ever needed to defend the cabin against zombies or traveling salespeople. What, you got Venus flytraps or something? Smirking myself, I stood in the kitchen and sipped my tea. The only sound was a muffled rush of rain outside. So peaceful. I like the little particles floating everywhere. Well, that's unexpected. What was that? A fox prowling outside? A raccoon? A fox and a raccoon do not make that kind of sound. There wasn't a person in my garden, was there? I went to the window, peering out into the darkness and listening hard.
I don't have to go out there and check, do I?
Might be a good idea.
I mean, someone could be in trouble. But then again, someone could be trouble. Maybe just stand on the porch and yell for whoever it is to get off the lawn?
Hey, you kids, get off my lawn! I weighed my options. Go outside and investigate the noise, stay inside and lock the doors. Let's go investigate the noise. The scream really had sounded human. I couldn't ignore that. I couldn't just ignore that. As much as I wanted to stay inside, warm and dry.
I was raised by humanitarian hippies, and all I got was this pesky conscience.
Yeah, no kidding, right? What do you need a conscience for?
Kidding.
Anyway?
Love you, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Please don't haunt me.
You do not know how many times I say that myself. I sat down my tea, went to find a crank-powered flashlight, and shoved my feet into a pair of boots. Hopefully, and probably, I wouldn't find anything out there, but checking was the right thing to do. I pulled open the door and stepped out onto the porch. The flashlight flickered pathetically. Lucky, all you need to power up a hand-cranked flashlight is hands, which I had. I scanned the dark garden. Raindrops lit up lit up as the light passed over them, and the trees and shrubs around the cabin swayed. All I could hear was wind and rain. A chill ran down my back.
Yo, anybody out here? No? Cool. Have a good night then.
Later. I turned to head back inside. A small voice stopped me in my tracks.
Hello? I'm here. Would you mind, helping me out of this, please?
The rain seemed to beat down harder as my pulse sped up. I turned my flashlight towards the voice, my hand visibly trembling.
It sure is cold out. I'm definitely not shaking out of fear, because that would be super lame.
I forced myself to step down off the porch and follow the path, until finally I was close enough to make out the shape of a person. As the weak flashlight beam illuminated more, I gasped. Whoever I'd been expecting to find, it certainly wasn't this delicate wisp of a girl. She was so pale, she almost looked like a ghost. Even her hair, long and clinging to her face in the rain, shone bright, almost white in the glow of the flashlight. She crouched on her hands and knees in the mud as though she'd fallen. 100 questions raced through my head. Where did she come from? How long had she been out in the storm? Why wasn't she dressed for the rain? Was she lost? Was she sick? I tried to sound tough, like my dad would have.
You there! What are you doing on my property?
The young woman squinted against the flashlight.
Please? I got lost and I promise I wasn't trying to steal anything.
Totally made she was. Her voice quivered, which I thought was kind of dumb. After all, she was the interloper. It was me who should be freaking out, which I was.
Well, then explain yourself! Why are you just laying on the ground there? Seems pretty sus.
Sussy baka. Why the heck did I add that last part? What was I trying to do? Lighten the mood? The girl turned her head away. Was she trying to make me feel bad? Was she, God forbid, stifling a cough? I took a step back, unwilling to take any chances.
I can't get up.
I've fallen, and I can't get up. Her matter-of-fact tone surprised me. I guess I was expecting some elaborate sob story and or pleas for food or money or medicine. It could be a trick, I thought. She could be getting ready to rob me. At this point, my flashlight started to lose its brightness. I stood there, cranking the hand to power the light back up. It was a long, awkward intermission, backed by the droning sound of the flashlight being worked. But the light was coming back on. I wound the crank a few more times to shine it brighter on her. The whole horrifying picture became clear. Oh! Somehow the girl had gotten her leg caught in one of my animal traps. She must not have seen the rusted old thing in the dark, and had grabbed her calf and torn it open. Okay. So this probably wasn't a trick. I don't think
Oh my god! Are you okay?
I started to move towards her, but then my own legs froze in fear. Fear of getting close to another human. If she was sick, then I could get sick. But then, I had no way of knowing whether or not she carried the virus. And right now, she was hurt and trapped because of me. I felt horrible. If I let her fend for herself, anything could happen. A hungry bear might come along. The weather could turn freezing. And even if she did manage to get herself out of the trap, she would probably develop an infection fast in such a nasty wound. Swallowing hard, I clenched my fists and forced myself to approach her. I had to get way, way too close for comfort. But I crouched, opened the trap, and freed her leg. It was bleeding pretty heavily. Though, now that I could see it up close, it didn't look to be as deep as I feared.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you found me. I was afraid I'd be trapped in that thing all night.
I stood up quickly and took a few steps back. For some reason, the girl was smiling at me. Didn't she understand that it was my stupid fault she'd gotten hurt? Then again, maybe she shouldn't have been sneaking around in the dark. My brain bickered with itself over who was to blame before realizing the girl wasn't able to get to her feet. I reluctantly offered a hand. wishing I thought to put out some nitro gloves. But why would I have thought of that and seen another human in... How long had it been? Accepting my help, the girl climbed to her feet. She wobbled, leaned in, and grabbed my waist to use me as a crutch.
Sorry. Is it okay that I'm touching you like this?
Her words sent a chill down my spine. Touching? Just the thought of it made me break out in a cold sweat.
It's fine. Let's just get out of this rain.
Yeah, let's do that first. What was I doing? When had I decided to let her into my house? The warm light glowing inside the cabin was like a beacon drawing us in. Well, said my brain to myself. I knew I was talking to myself because I was wearing my underwear. I guess this is a thing we're doing now. I no longer needed my flashlight, so I tucked it away and used that hand instead to help support the injured girl up the pathway. With my arm around her waist and her arm around my shoulder, it became very clear to me how small she really was. Small and delicate, like a folded paper crane. A soggy, limp paper crane in a drenched dress that clung to her shivering body. Just then, my pant leg caught on something. A nail jutting out from the side of the porch. I felt the fabric tug and rip as we moved past. Great. What an evening this was turning out to be. Once we made it inside, I helped the stranger sit down on a wooden chair. I made a mental note to disinfect that chair later. And my clothes? Maybe even the flashlight. But first aid.
Where did I put that kit?
I was never good at staying organized. That's true. Even on my computer, all my folders and internet tabs are a mess. That's not true. Even on my computer and my phone, I keep everything organized. No point in fighting entropy. That was my philosophy. I searched the drawers, the counter, the floor, and nearly tripped over that dumb broom again before finally finding the first aid kit. It was not well stocked. What would we do for now? Dude, pick up your broom! I gathered up some towels and my forehead thermometer too. Then I washed my hands, put on some gloves, and a face mask from the old box in the back of the cupboard. I brought everything over to the waiting girl.
Before anything else, let me scan your temperature.
I held the scanner up to her forehead. 2 seconds passed before we heard the good beep, which meant her temperature was normal.
No fever. That's a relief. Do you have any other symptoms?
Her eyes widened. She shook her head. Well, it was still better to be cautious. I barely breathed as I took her leg into my lap and started tending to her wound. She didn't wince or complain at all. She was tougher than she looked. I was the opposite. I knew. I looked mean even when I wasn't trying. But on the inside, I was basically a fluffy yellow duckling with anxiety. If our situations were reversed, it was my leg cut up like that, I'd probably have been a weepy wreck, spouting rare and extravagant curse words. But she just sat there, quietly watching.
Are you a doctor?
No, I don't even play one on TV. Was she joking?
Do you honestly think I look like a doctor?
Shit. Way to draw attention to your looks, idiot, I thought to myself. Not that I cared, really. It was just that I hadn't combed my hair in a few days, or weeks. And I'd been living the same set of clothes for a while now. A ratty old t-shirt with a rocket ship on the front, and a pair of jeans that had long gone out of fashion. Jeans never go out of fashion. Hot, right? In other life, I might have felt self-conscious. Not about my teeth, though. Never about my teeth. Dentists were kind of thing of the past, and since I wanted to keep my teeth for chewing purposes and whatnot, I was committed to practicing good oral hygiene. Hey, that's always a good idea.
I'm not sure what a doctor looks like, but you seem to know what you're doing, and you're a very kind person. So I believe you if you told me you were a doctor.
You're really... I looked away, awkwardly holding a clean bandage against the gash on her leg. The towels I'd used to clean the wound or no. A pile of blood-soaked, mud-stained rags on the dirty floor. Was I a kind person?
It's just basic first aid. Not a big deal. Here, hold this. Put pressure on it while I wrap it up.
I wrapped a length of gauze around her narrow leg to hold the bandage in place.
That should be okay overnight, but we should probably clean it again and rewrap it tomorrow.
Her leg didn't leave my lap. Instead, she wiggled her toes and shot me a small smile.
You're going to let me stay here?
Can't have you stay out in the rain.
Huh?
I looked up at her and instantly forgot how to speak, because suddenly I was struck by how pretty she was. I mean, the rain had really done a number on her, but still. She must have been around 20, give or take. Not too much younger than me. She was thin, but everyone was thin these days. With her, it's like she'd been built this way, small and delicate and weightless. Her dress was simple and a little threadbare. The rain had soaked through, and I realized I could sort of see her undergarments. Ooh! I quickly averted my eyes, my cheeks warming. I hope she hadn't noticed me looking, because I really hadn't meant to look.
You said clean it again tomorrow, right?
Yeah. I did. I did say that. The room seemed to spin a little. My face went from feeling very hot to feeling very cold. Stay away from each other. That was the rule. What was I supposed to do? Maybe it's okay if she stays. Maybe she shouldn't be here. I mean, she's not showing any symptoms of Vivid 22. And it's raining cats and dogs outside, so I think it's okay. Look at how pitiful she is. Oh, well, come on, dude, said my brain. My brain was right. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't... there goes my tongue again. I didn't know what to do except go along with it.
Well, it's not like I'm going to just send you back out into the rain.
My thoughts exactly.
Not by yourself, anyway. Is there anyone else in your bubble? Anyone I can call to come get you, or...
She looked down into her lap.
No.
No, well... Oh. Her response made me too nervous to ask any further questions. I just wasn't sure if I could handle a tragic backstory at this particular moment. In any case, I knew that if my parents were still around, they'd never have sent this girl back out in the night. They'd have let her stay, at least until she got her bearings. I sighed, giving in.
Okay, well, you can sleep on my couch tonight. We'll figure the rest out tomorrow. We should really stay at least 6 feet apart, though.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Dude, ask her name. She nodded and gently removed her leg from my lap. I moved back, making more space between us, and sat to examine the rip in my pants. Meanwhile, my brain tried to fathom what was happening. I brought a stranger to my house. I didn't know who she was or where she'd come from. This seemed like a bad idea, and also a tad surreal.
Damn, I liked these pants.
Oh no, did you get hurt too?
No, it's just a rip.
Oh, that's not so bad.
It can be fixed. I got up and made even more space between us. She stood up too, testing her weight on her injured leg.
Wow, it already feels so much better.
Oh, she's
You must
talking.
have a magical healing touch.
I was starting to think that she might be one of those weird, optimistic people. Also, it was hard to think straight with her standing up in that very damp, very revealing dress. I mean, it is a little revealing.
You need to take that dress off. That came out wrong. What I mean is, it's wet and cold, and I'm sure you'd feel better if you changed into something dry and warm.
There you go, nice recovery.
I'm sure I have some extra clothes you can wear.
Really?
Hot in the face, I ran off to procure a basket of old clothes from my storage closet. I hadn't worn them since my teenage years. They were too small for me now, but might be a good fit for her.
Here, take whatever you want. They're all clean.
I dropped the basket on the table and walked backwards away from it.
That's so nice of you. I'll get changed now.
Okie day. I watched her take the basket and hobble out of the room to change where I couldn't see. When she came back, I was surprised to see that she had chosen a button-down that was part of my old school uniform from back before everything went online. I'd been much younger and much smaller when I wore that shirt, but even still, it swam on her frame. It almost looked like a nightgown, which is probably why she had chosen it.
I haven't felt this comfy since I don't know when. It's a school shirt, right? I always liked the look of school uniforms, but I never got to wear one. All my classes were online.
For some reason, that made me a little sad. I myself had so few memories of the world before the sickness. It was hard to imagine not having any at all.
How old are you?
21. My
Okay,
birthday
good.
was actually last week.
Hey!
Oh,
Happy
well,
belated.
Happy belated birthday. Do you have a name?
Well, I would hope so.
Oh, of course I do. It's Mallory.
Nice to meet you, Mallory.
Nice to meet you, Mallory. Well, not nice exactly. Weird to meet you, I guess.
Hey, Mio, can I have a writing job
I'm
at Sad
not
Panda?
used to people.
Yeah, I get it. I didn't mean to trespass onto your property. I really did get lost. And then the rain started, and I could hear these dogs or something howling. I was scared, and I ran towards the first light I saw.
I nodded as if to say I understood. It was true that there were things like wolves and coyotes in this area. That was why I'd set up extra secure fence for my chickens.
But what were you doing out there in the first place?
That's a very good question.
I would rather not talk about that.
Okay. I stared at her, totally perplexed. Why the secrecy? Should I press for more? Let go for now. She had a rough night. I decided not to push it. It was all too much, and I really needed sleep. My toe was hurting where I stepped on the broom. You in that damn broom, dude.
Don't worry about it. You're here now, so just take the opportunity to get some rest.
I'm sure we'll get more answers along the way. I skirted around her to grab some blankets. I maintained a wide berth as I dropped them on the couch. I offered her a glass of water, pointed out the bathroom, and asked if she needed anything, all from afar.
This is perfect. Thank you so much for everything. Truly, I'm lucky to have met you.
Yeah, just try not to touch anything, okay?
I shuffled my feet awkwardly.
Okay, I'm going to bed. Bye.
I hope you have sweet dreams. I'll see you in the morning.
Aw. Oh, that's cute. As I made my way up the stairs to my bedroom, I glanced back. Mallory was already curled up on the couch, looking quite cozy. I couldn't remember the last time I had anyone in my house, even briefly. I'd been so careful for such a long time. I didn't know where she'd been, or if she'd been as careful as I was. I mean, there's careful and there's obsessive, honestly. I was careful all through the 2020 pandemic, but when my gaze fell on her bandaged leg, a prickle of guilt surged up.
Good night.
I finished climbing the stairs and flopped down on my bed. Hey, I love the view! I was so exhausted, emotionally puzzled, and mentally drained. It didn't take long for me to fall deeply asleep. Chapter 3, Germination. I think we can go one more chapter. How long have we been playing for? About half an hour? Yeah, let's do another chapter. I woke as usual to the happy sound of a rooster crowing in the garden. Shut the hell up! That'd be my reaction. The sky was clear and the early morning sun was bright and cheery. You'd think a morning like that would have put me in a great mood, but nope. All night my dreams revolved around strange bugs infesting the cabin. Hordes of them squirming inside through every crack. I must have been tense all night, because my neck had a painful kink in it. I had definitely woken up on the proverbial wrong side of the bed. I suppose I'd forgotten about my house guest, or at least I hadn't remembered to think about her yet. I was busy making a list in my head of the work I needed to get done today. That's when the smoke alarm started shrieking. I bolted upright in bed. There was someone in my house, and I had let her in. And yep, I could definitely smell something burning. I rushed to put on some real daytime clothes and barreled downstairs. Mallory stood in the kitchen looking mortified. A little smoke hung in the air, but I didn't see any flames. Phew. Grabbing a chair, I jumped up and silenced the smoke alarm.
Thank you. I'm really so sorry. I tried wafting a dish towel at it, but the alarm just wouldn't stop. I didn't wake you, did I? Oh.
I wasn't really listening to her. I was too busy creating space between us and also looking for a source of the smoke. There it was, a pan with a charred black mass sitting in it. I didn't know what she burned, but she really burned it.
What is that?
Or what was that?
Oh, I thought I'd make you breakfast as a thank you. My mom used to have the best recipe for potato pancakes that would always fuel me for the day.
Ooh, potato pancakes.
Well, I'm not totally sure what happened. I never used a stove like yours before, so this batch got a little overdone. Maybe I can scrape off the burnt part. You know what? Forget I said that. It's all burnt part. I'll just clean up my mess and then I'll make you a new batch. And I will definitely be more careful this time.
Hang on, did you say potato pancakes?
They're the best. It's too bad this first batch didn't turn out because I spent all morning digging up the potatoes, washing them, peeling them. They were so tiny it took extra long, and I was worried you'd wake up before I could finish. Luckily, I've got some other treats on the go as well, so you're not going to starve. Just let me turn on the toaster real quick.
She reached for the toaster handle, but the microwave was running and the kettle was boiling and...
Wait, stop!
And overload the solar panels. Too late, she overloaded the solar panel inverter. And just like that, the kettle, microwave, toaster, and kitchen lights all shut off.
Why did you do that?
Hey. Slow your roll, buddy. Mallory, having planned the overdone pancakes for some reason, dropped the plate and alarm. Oh, wait. Mallory, having planted the overdone pancakes for some reason, dropped the plate and alarm. It smashed, flinging shards of itself across the floor. The blackened pancakes bounced like rocks. Sad potato rocks.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make you some breakfast. I didn't mean to cause so much trouble. I'll clean this up.
I sighed in frustration. All I had wanted was to make coffee and sit down at my computer, just like every other morning. I couldn't do that now, because I had to get the power sorted and check to make sure she hadn't completely destroyed my precious garden.
Are you angry with me?
How was I supposed to answer that? No, I can't say mad. I was definitely upset. I definitely didn't like the situation, but it wasn't like she'd intentionally ruined my potatoes. She'd only been so audacious to dig them up without permission, long before they were ready, even after I specifically told her not to touch anything. I looked away.
I'm just not a breakfast person.
I'm really sorry. I just wanted to do something nice as a thank you for letting me stay here. I promise I'll fix everything and then I'll just get ready to leave.
Sure, whatever.
I turned away and went to haul my work gloves. I went away and went to haul on my work gloves and boots. There we go.
I'll be out in the yard for a while.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I went out, and as I pulled the back door shut behind me, I heard a soft sound from the kitchen, like a heavy sigh or stifled sob. Wait, was she crying?
What did I get myself into? For real, I can't believe.
I continued muttering grumpily to myself as I strode out into the garden. Then I took a deep breath of fresh, cold air. It had an autumn bite to it, but the sun was warm. I felt instantly calmer.
Oh well, she'll be gone soon anyway.
Yeah, right. I took my time that morning, dealing with the power issue and making the usual rounds. Happy hens? Check. Busy beehive? Check. I did a rough count of the firewood in my shed, then made my way back to the front of the cabin. I stopped when I saw the bloody animal trap where Mallory had gotten hurt the night before.
Damn, that That had to have been painful.
I would imagine so. I've never had my foot or any part of my body trapped in a bear trap before, so I wouldn't know. And I hope I never know. I felt pretty bad. The traps are only supposed to be wards, something to keep my bubble a little safer from dangerous wildlife. I never meant for anyone to get hurt. Yeah, I mean, things like that happen. I looked at the trap, wondering if I should rethink my setup. Yeah, let's move the trap. I decided to move the trap instead of further away from the house, closer to the woods.
Maybe next time I'll catch something less likely to ruin my day.
Or...
Okay, that was a bit harsh. She didn't mean to ruin my day.
Exactly.
A rabbit would be good, though.
I ignored the sudden craving for rabbit stew, and, having finished with my trap, wandered down to the garden. Right away I could see where Mallory had dug up breakfast. I surveyed the overturned earth with a heavy heart, noticing a handful of small potatoes uprooted and abandoned. Well, I could always plant something new here. That was the right time of year for garlic. The sun had already climbed high into the sky. I was feeling almost warm enough to peel off my sweater. I figured I should probably go inside, maybe eat something, check in on poor Mallory, and get to work on my computer. Right away as I went inside and kicked off my boots, something didn't feel right. It took me a moment to realize, your cabin's clean. The mess was gone. There was no brooms on the floor, or garbage bags waiting to go out. No scattered crumbs or dust bunny cities. Everything looked so clean. Wow, how long did it take her to do that? It literally sparkled. But how? And why? Had Mallory done all this just to make up for the little breakfast fiasco?
Whoa, this is really nice.
Yeah,
Like,
you see
really,
what happens, dude?
really nice.
As I looked around at all she'd done, I started to feel I started to feel like a bit of an ass. I figured I should apologize. But where was she? She hadn't left already, had she? I'm using my phone to check the time. How long the episode is. Then I heard something coming from the bathroom. The sound of splashing water and a small voice humming a happy tune. Dude! Stay out of the bathroom! Stay out of the bathroom, dude! My heart sank.
She couldn't. She wouldn't.
Without thinking, I threw open the bathroom door. Oh, dude! Okay, she's wearing a towel, that's good. I mean, this is also the censored version, so... We stared at each other, both of us shocked at my intrusion. My brain kicked back into gear, and I tore my gaze away from her. But it was too late. I had seen everything, including a bathtub full of water.
What are you doing?
I was just taking a bath.
I pointed in the direction of the bathtub, keeping my eyes fixed on the door frame.
That's my water supply!
It's still warm if you want to use it.
What? Did she not get it? Obviously not.
That's my water supply! My fresh water! My drinking water! My everything water! What were you thinking? Why did you use so much?
Dude, harsh. Panic was really setting in now. What if she'd run the cistern dry? I'd have almost nothing until the next rainfall, and who knew when that would be.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. I really...
Oop, didn't mean to do that. I'd never run out of water before, but that was because I'd always been so careful. This could be the very day I had so deeply feared would come.
How do you survive this way? It's like you're constantly wasting things! Is this why you were out in the rain last night? Did your bubble decide to kick you out because you don't know how to think before you act?
Dude, calm down. Her mouth popped open. I immediately felt bad for shouting. Damn, I really was in a bad mood today.
Just finish up in here. And don't drain that water, okay? I'll repurpose it for laundry or something.
I didn't want to acknowledge my own anger, or the tears that had sprung into her eyes at what I'd said. In any case, I need to check the rain barrels, like right that second. I turned my back on her and walked away. For the rest of the afternoon, I sat at my computer, waiting for Mallory to leave. I just couldn't stop thinking about her. By that, I mean I couldn't stop thinking about how naive, careless, and wasteful she was. Nothing to do with her shimmery eyes or how sweet she seemed to be even when everything else was horrible. Nope. Okay. Yeah, you okay, dude. The good news was I checked the rain barrels, and the situation wasn't as dire as I feared. As long as it rained again sometime in the next few weeks, we'd be okay. Still, I sat at my computer for a long time, entirely unable to focus on my work. When Mallory finally reappeared, she was holding the cardboard box of my old clothes. For some reason, she was still only wearing a bath towel. That made me feel all sorts of uncomfortable feelings, and I tried extra hard to keep my eyes on my computer screen. I pretended to type. I noticed the box had more clothing in it than before. I even saw some of my favorites peeking out. Ask her what she's up to. See what she's doing. I cleared my throat loudly, and Mallory looked at me.
What are you doing with those clothes?
Oh, I was just going to go through them and sort out what's good to wear. I hope that's okay.
Huh? That didn't sound too worrisome. Maybe she was finally getting ready to go.
Right. You're welcome to take anything that doesn't fit me anymore. I'm sure you could use some warmer things to wear out there on your travels.
I turned quickly back to my computer, hoping I hadn't hurt her feelings with my not-so-subtle reminder that I didn't want her here. Why do you care about her feelings? Asked my brain. You already told her she's not welcome. She'll be going soon either way. I hyper-focused on my screen. In another couple hours, I still had nothing done. Suddenly it was dark out, and I was starving. And Mallory still hadn't left. In fact, she was in the kitchen. There was nice, savory smells wafting my way. I logged off and shut down my computer, quickly but casually, making my way over to her. I found her tending to 3 separate pots on the stove, all of them simmering and steaming pleasantly. How dare she? Nothing was burning this time either, which made me feel annoying feelings like impressed and kind of excited to eat that. Mallory noticed me standing there and smiled way too brightly.
Oh, good, you're finished working.
And she's
That's
still not out of her
perfect,
towel.
because supper is ready.
She started dishing out the oddly fancy-looking meal onto 2 large plates.
What is all this?
It's all made from freeze-dried proteins and grains I found in the pantry, and some spices, which, by the way, make all the difference when it comes to flavoring a dish. Oh, and I only used things that were already open, so I hope I didn't overstep again. I can tell you work really hard, and I know I made a mess of things, and I just really wanted to make it up to you. I'm determined to have a net positive impact here.
She thought I'd been nice? I was suddenly very concerned about how low the bar was for her. I also couldn't help feeling a little charmed by her determination. I wanted to let her know that I did actually appreciate her efforts.
Well, this does look incredible. And by the smell of it, I'm pretty sure I'll be licking these plates clean. You did wash your hands before you started, right?
I hope so.
Yes, silly. And I still don't have any symptoms of any sicknesses either. So come on, let's eat. I want you to enjoy it while it's hot.
There was something so endearing in the simplicity of her delight. I smiled as I took my plate and sat down at the far end of the table, away from her. We ate in silence. The food really was delicious. I wouldn't have guessed that she had it in her, not based on that morning. I wonder if I should try to get some answers out of her now, I thought, and cleared my throat.
How's your leg feeling?
It's not too bad.
I should probably take a look at it after supper, clean it up and put a fresh bandage on it. And then, I suppose we should talk about getting you home?
Right. Home.
Yeah, that look says no.
I mean, I don't know if you have a family or a group or whatever, or if you're on your own like me, but you don't exactly look like you, live in the forest. So where are you headed?
She lifted one shoulder, visibly uncertain.
Surely there must be someone, somewhere.
I'll figure something out.
Hang on, no. I want to make sure you're going to be okay.
I thought you just wanted me to leave.
Ideally, I'd like to know at least something about your situation. Maybe I could help you.
She looked away.
That's sweet of you, but I'm sorry. I'm just not ready to talk about it.
Okay.
We fell quiet once more, just the awkward scrape of forks on plates to fill the silence. I considered her as she sat across from me. So beautiful it was, as if she were a digital painting.
Can I just ask one more question? Why are you still wearing that towel?
That's a good question. She looked at me blankly. The last few morsels of food, bouncing on her fork, fell back on her plate. She glanced down at herself, then up again, hands clasping around the sides of her face.
What? You mean I've been wearing this the whole time?
Yes?
Oh, I can't believe it. How do I forget these things? Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Oh my gosh.
At least she's not naked. I couldn't help laughing. I felt like I was finally catching on. She was a bit of a space case. That was all. And her mannerisms made it her mannerisms made it sort of adorable.
I'll be back to clean up as soon as I'm decent.
Her efforts to flee quickly were hampered by her leg. She ended up limping away in search of her clothes, mumbling exasperately under her breath. That probably wasn't the right word, but oh well. That's when it hit me. I hadn't even considered how much pain she must have been in as she cooked and cleaned and tried so hard to pay me back. Pay me back for what, though? I'd only wanted to help, and I hadn't even done a great job of it. And now I was trying to send her away knowing full well she had nowhere to go. No, I couldn't do that. And now I felt like I had to make things up to her. I tidied up quickly from supper and returned to my computer, where I booted up my 3D printer. I hadn't used the thing often, but it was there for emergencies, and this seemed urgent enough. I managed to find a design that was close to what I imagined. I set everything up and stood back to watch the printer do its thing. Just then, Mallory emerged wearing her dress.
Oh, you already cleaned up. I guess that's it then.
She stood beside the table, leaning on it for support. I stood in front of the printer while it worked. I didn't know what to say, so I decided to just let words come out of my mouth.
You should stay.
Blah, 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 blah.
Also, I'm sorry. I've been a total asshat to you.
Yay! They use the asshat in the game. Yes. That makes me so happy for some reason. She looked up at me, nervously clutching the sides of her dress in her tiny hands. Her mouth opened and closed like she didn't know what to say either. So I just kept going.
It was kind of a shock to have you show up here. I haven't had anyone visit, ever, because this has always been my space, my family's space. I guess I felt sort of invaded.
What about Facebook?
But now I realize that's stupid.
Yes.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I wouldn't feel right making you leave when you're clearly in a bad spot. I have the means to help you, and there's no reason why I shouldn't.
There you go.
If you want to leave, that's fine, but there's no rush. Cool?
No rush. Haha. She smiled softly. Her eyes seemed to glitter.
Cool.
Behind me, the 3D printer finished its work. That was quick. I turned around to take sheets of gauze with the cute potato pattern I'd printed, hoping it would amuse her and lighten the mood.
Can I redress your leg now?
The pattern on the gauze made her giggle, and she nodded and sat down, propping her leg up. I prepared once again for the uncomfortable closeness that was necessary for this task. I scrubbed my hands, put on a mask and a pair of gloves, and went to sit by her with the first aid kit. We chatted idly as I cleaned and packed her wound. Afterwards, I got her set up on the couch and bid her good night. I wasn't exactly tired, but I figured it was better to leave things off on a pleasant note before things got awkward again. I climbed up the stairs to my loft and lay in bed, staring at the ceiling above me. I thought about how angry I'd been with her actions that morning. I thought about how scared and uncomfortable I'd felt throughout the day. How was it that now, a matter of hours later, I could feel such a gentle fondness for the very same person who'd made me so upset? Hey, moody hermit, I kill myself. Okay, that popped me. Yeah, you're probably right, I thought in reply. And with that, I closed my eyes and waited for sleep. Chapter 4, Growth. Okay, I think we're going to leave it off for this episode, but don't worry, because there's going to be another Cabin Fever episode coming on Thursday, and we're going to play a little bit more of this. I'm liking it so far, so we'll get a little more into that Thursday for part 2. But what do you think so far of Cabin Fever? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'd really love to read your thoughts on this one. Sorry, I had to grab something. You probably know what it is already if you've watched enough of my videos. But what do you think so far of Cabin Fever? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'd really love to read your thoughts on this. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. In the description down below, you're going to see a link of all the ways you can help support this channel. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and Reddit. I forgot to mention Reddit the last time I was on, last video I did, I think. I don't know. But I remember I forgot it one time. You can get your Irish Bandit merchandise from my Irish Bandit shop on redbubble.com. You can pick up your copy of my 5-star rated novel, Shade Falling, on Amazon. You can get that through either Kindle e-reader or on paperback. And you can buy me a coffee, where right now I have a goal set up where I want to get some Elgato gear for my PC, make these streams just look a little bit better than they do now. You can help in the link down below. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, tap the bell and you'll be notified whenever a brand new video goes live. I will be back tomorrow looking at some of my most viewed videos on the channel, and then I'll be back Wednesday with more Bioshock, and then, like I said, on Thursday we'll be playing more of Cabin Fever, so be sure to join me for that. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon.